different policies of different political parties. Of course, the big question here is, well, how do we define the common good today in a secular pluralist society? But this sense that this is what government is there for is part of, I think, the fruit of the biblical Christian tradition about the role of government. And as I say, there's a question of how much government does that simply by putting restraint on those who damage the common good. How much is the government there to actually advance the common good by intervening and acting in particular areas of social life? And that ties into this whole question of what is the role of just judgment. The task does seem to be, we've seen essentially in the Old Testament, Romans 13, the call in 2 Chronicles, consider what you do, for you judge not for man, but for the Lord. O'Donovan, the 2 books that I've brought along there, has got quite a strong sense, and some would, he was probably at the sort of extreme and what might be called the Augustinian strand of emphasizing the importance of judgment as the central, even at times it would appear, the sole task. Does that lead to a minimalist view of government, or does it lead to actually government stepping in to judge more widely, to remedy ills, and to put in place structures that enable human flourishing in wider society? So that, again, is the sort of practical question that comes out of this principle for today. Well, what is just judgment? What does just judgment look like? How do we deal with that when we have competing moral systems and views of what is just? Again, the marriage debate that's on at the moment, is this a matter of equal marriage and justice, or is it ignoring other things that are important in terms of the task of government? And the question of, is this too limited a role for government? Some of the criticisms of emphasising just judgment as the task of government might suggest that it limits itself simply to a sort of penal criminal type intervention and not having a wider welfare and